What's up, Facebook Live? Hello to those of you who are on the podcast. Good to hear you, see you. As you're joining, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's topic is based on a quote I just saw from a good friend of ours, Sean Modell. He was talking, the quote was talking about the fact, and the question is, are you living congruently in a way that leads to the goals, dreams, wants, desires that you have or going after? And that's a big question. Simple question to start with. Are you living and using daily habits and rituals that are going to lead to the results you really want in life? It's a pretty simple question. And if you were to just comb through, again, the majors of your life. So in your health, let's just ask real quick for those of you tuning in. Welcome. We'd love to know where you're tuning in from. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please tweet me and tell me where you tune in from so we know. For those of you who are on Facebook Live, I see you all. I see that number growing. Where are you tuning in from? What are you grateful for today? But as we jump right in, I'd love to know if you think about your health, are your current habits, the things you do most often. Duke research shows that 40% of what you do every day is not a conscious thought. It's literally a habit you've built into your nervous system, meaning you don't even think about it. I've shown this before, especially on these live casts, where the first time you do something, there's a big spike in brain waves, and then there's lots of big spikes all the way through, and then at the end, there's a big spike at the end that shows your brainwave activity when you're doing something for the first time. When you're doing something for the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 10th, 12th time, Yali, nice to see you. Brenda, nice to see you. When you're doing something for, the multiple-th time, so 20th time, 10th time, 15th time, all of a sudden there's a big spike in brainwaves when you start the activity. There's a gentle hum of brainwaves during the activity, and then there's a big spike at the end when you change activities. All that means is your brain has literally gone into autopilot. So my curiosity lies for you who are tuning in and listening. What is your autopilot set to right now? In your health, what literal autopilot pieces are set up in your nervous system that happen without you even thinking about it? Meaning, the food you eat, what autopilot are you set in? Are you set that you automatically always reach for the healthiest option? You always reach for something that's going to cleanse you, alkalize you, make you healthier, stronger, happier from the inside out? Or is your autopilot set that, at 2:30 in the afternoon, you start to get a little tired, you need a little sugar, and you start reaching for candy, you start reaching for junk, you start reaching for crap? What is your autopilot set to? Josh, nice to see you. Yahoo, coming from you, Los Angeles. Amazing topic today. You taught me how to break our black box. Yes. Richard, grateful for my mastermind team, grateful for my Stuart mics. Seem awesome. Sivan, hello. So welcome. Here's the question. Are your health habits literally built to make you healthier, happier, and more fulfilled every single day? If they're not, what are you doing to adjust them? At the end of this training, I'm going to show you a 3-step process we've talked about before of exactly how to adjust any habit. But let's move on. Emotionally, what are your habits set to? Are your habits right now set emotionally for you to be the happiest, most fulfilled, joyful, passionate, alive version of yourself every day? Meaning, is that your autopilot? You wake up every day and your mindset is trained, your nervous system is trained that no matter what is going on around you, no matter how tough life is, no matter how many challenges show up, no matter how many obstacles hit you in the day, literally you find a way to always be grateful, to always be happy, to always be excited, to always be passionate? Or is your autopilot emotionally that no matter how great life is, no matter what's going on, it's always to be pissed, it's always to be frustrated, it's always to be sad, it's always to be anxious, it's always to be worried, it's always to be fearful? What have you set your nervous system, your emotional autopilot, what have you set it to that just happens unconsciously every day without thinking about it because you've trained yourself to do this? Relationship-wise, what's your relationship autopilot set to? Are you set to get closer, freak out, and do something to push them away? Are you set to get close, get to know them, and latch on for dear life, hoping they never leave you? Is your autopilot in relationships to treat them nice, treat them bad, and then, oh, I'm so sorry, try to work your way back out of what you just did? What's your autopilot set to? Is your autopilot set to being loving and caring and really, truly, the most best version of yourself and truly giving and serving them and lighting them up? Is your autopilot set to look for what does this person need and how can I fucking deliver in this moment? What is it set to in relationships? This is important. Because if your autopilot set to always attacking and then going, oh, I'm so sorry, they'll only stick around so long. You can only attack someone so many times mentally, emotionally, verbally, physically before they're like, fuck this, I'm out. Let's use language, but it's true. So what have you set your autopilot to? Over time, I've caught myself where those little pieces where I'll catch myself doing an autopilot where I'm like, wow, that's happened once, that's happened twice, oh shit, it's happened 3 times, uh-oh, I need to reset my autopilot. I can't allow that to continue, otherwise I'm going to be in trouble, or this relationship's not going to last like I want it to. And this is your intimate relationship, friendships, emotional relationships, any of those things. So to think about that concept, to go from your autopilot in relationships to what about your business? Is your autopilot set to avoid the things you don't want to do all day long, to avoid the stuff that helps you grow and is uncomfortable but really truly helps magnify what you do? Or is your autopilot set literally to always go after the things that you need to get done, to always step up and deliver, to always get in there? I saw a quote earlier today we reposted on Instagram that says, the reason where success comes from is doing the little stuff everyone knows they should be doing. Keyword, the underline, star, highlight, should be doing. Everyone knows they should be doing it, but success comes from doing those things consistently when everyone else just thinks about it and goes, oh yeah, I should, but I guess I don't. And so your ability to train yourself to automatically, consistently deliver on the little things again and again and again and again in business. What are the 3 things you're currently doing? And this is something we do in trainings all over the world. We sit down with organizations and we ask this question. What are 3 things you're currently doing in your business that you know you shouldn't be, that are literally robbing you, stealing thousands and thousands, if not millions of dollars from your company every single day because you have these 3 bad habits that you've allowed to stick around? On the flip side, what are 3 things you know you need to be doing that if you were doing these 3 things every day, it would help generate $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $1 million this year for your company just by doing these 3 other little habits you're not doing? And if we can get you to make that adjustment right there in that presentation, this thing's worth tens of thousands, 20s of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million+ for a company, even tens of millions, depending on the size of the company and what they move or sell or the service they provide. But literally, that little tiny adjustment, 3 things you're doing you know you're not supposed to, how to wipe those out, 3 things you know you need to be doing, and how to get yourself to do them consistently. And if done consistently, boom, sales, marketing, everything skyrockets, and you hit the numbers and reach the people and make the difference you want to make. Moving on, this is a big one, and this will reach a lot of people out there. Financially, what are the 3 habits you have, or what are you doing habitually, and what is your autopilot set to in your finances? Have you consciously and unconsciously set up yourself so that every month you spend more money than you make and go, oh shoot, what happened? Is that your autopilot? Or is every month, no matter what, it doesn't matter if you make $1 million this month or $1,000 this month or $10 this month, you always find a way to save some of the difference, invest it in something important that can help you grow. What's your autopilot set to? If we keep going, I guess the only one left that I haven't talked about it, family, children autopilot, how you treat your kids. Do you never have time to hang out with them? Do you never have time to do the things that matter most? Or are you the person who always finds time, always creates time for those magic moments and the people who matter to you? Final one, spiritual life. What's your autopilot set to? Are you autopilot? Have you set up your own nervous system in your spiritual life that says, oh, I'll get to it someday. Someday I'll do that. Oh yeah, I really should go do that, but not today. Or are you, and you could say spiritual life, maybe giving is another area here. Have you set up to, oh, someday when I make enough, then I'll share with other people? Or is your autopilot that says, listen, I'm always abundant, I take what I have, I break off a piece, and I always share it with someone next to me because I want to see them grow too. I want to see them have some blessings in their life as well. Let's grab the questions here and see what people are set to. So thank you for participating. I'll scroll up here. Let's see. Northeast Pennsylvania. Hello, hello, hello. Autopilot says, get the goodies. So Debbie, now let me ask, just to be fair, if your health autopilot, I assume that's what we're talking about, is set to always grab the goodies, always grab the junk food or stuff that tastes good, what's that adding up to? If you magnify that autopilot for the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years of your life, what are the results you're going to be seeing health-wise, emotionally, and fitness-wise at that? And that's the next question. Tuning in from Israel, grateful for getting my belief system enabled me to design the life of my early stage at 16. Very cool. Congrats, Ori. Jeremy, this is huge. Glad to hear you like it. Kylie, what's up? Said, you look like Tony, Dad. Well, I'm glad I have a dad named Tony, too. Pete, autopilot set for survival mode at the moment. Interesting. So this is a big one. Thank you for bringing this up. If your autopilot is set for survival mode, what that means is it's tapping into kind of the fight or flight part of who you are. And there's two places you can come from. You can come from your heart, or you can come from the reptilian part of your brain, which is the fight or flight survive mode. And you got to think about this. When you come from a place, and the other way to say this is scarcity or abundance. When you come from a place of pure love and abundance, how do you treat people? How do you see the world? What's possible? What can you make happen? How resourceful do you get? It's incredible when you can tap into this place of really feeling abundant and full from within. And from there, usually people say stuff like, anything's possible. I can find a way, make a way, create a way. I'm resourceful. I'm creative. I develop it or design it, or I'll do whatever it takes. You know, and what do you want from that place of total abundance? What do you want your husband, your wife, your kids to have? What do you want to share with them? And they're like, everything. What would you do to make that happen? Whatever it takes. You know, when you think about traveling the world from a place of total abundance, what's possible? Man, I want to go everywhere. I want to get my hands on there. But what about the flights? I'll figure it out. What about the travel money? I'll figure it out. It's this place of absolute and total abundance. And when you can activate that space and that becomes your ritual or habit, bam, your life goes to places you would have never imagined possible, or far beyond what you did imagine was possible. Now, on the flip side, the other pattern people have is a pattern of scarcity. A pattern of, even though you have more right now, so I'll give you a funny test. How many of you right now make more money every month than you did 10 years ago in your life? Now, if you ask a group of people this, most people raise their hand and say, okay, how many people is it still not enough? And if you ask people, everyone raises their hand and say it's still not enough. But the amount of money you're making right now was a dream 10 years ago. It's like, if I could just make that amount of money, then everything would be perfect. Now you're making it and going, oh man, if I could just make more. The truth is that's not what changes your ability to have an extraordinary life, to really have the ability to travel and live the life and do whatever you want, or give what you want to give and grow and experience what you want. The truth is, it comes down to resourcefulness, which is learning how to train yourself to come from a place of absolute abundance. If you scroll down on this page and go to the topic we did yesterday, which is the difference between I can't do that versus how can I do that. It's a very simple language shift. Comes from Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki. But the thought is, in the place of the reptilian part of your brain, the fight or flight, the protect, and food, shelter, sex, protection, and that's all I think about because that's all that matters right now. If you catch yourself going into that mode, a couple things you can do to get out of it. Number one, you need to sit down and flood your mind and body with absolute gratitude and start with the small stuff. I'm grateful that I can see. I'm grateful that I can hear. I'm grateful that my body's functioning. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful that I live in X part of the world that has X great things about it. I'm grateful that I can see the leaves, the wind moving through the leaves. And if you got to force yourself to do this. But if you flood, and get to a place where you remember how abundant you are, all of a sudden it'll start to tip the scale back into a place of abundance out of a place of scarcity. But you got to force yourself to do this. And don't just make up stupid shit. Don't be like, I'm grateful because the wall, I can see it. Like that, unless you're really, truly grateful for it, don't do it. Now, if you want to amplify that gratitude, according to Stanford University, what you do is pick one thing you're grateful for and come up with 5 specific features about it. So I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for her love, her creativity. I'm grateful for how funny and silly she is. I'm grateful for how creative and alive she is. I'm grateful for how much she cares about other people. I'm grateful for, and if you make a list about all the little details around that person, all of a sudden it amplifies the gratitude, and it really allows you to feel it even deeper than before. So that's how you amplify that gratitude and really connect with it. According to Harvard studies, there's some research there that says the other thing you want to do is random acts of kindness. Because when you go out and do a random act of kindness for others, it immediately reminds you that you're abundant because you have something of value to share with another. Therefore, it makes you feel abundant because you have something of value, and it's a reminder. So 2 things. Flood with gratitude. Number two, do something good for other people around you. Those things can help get you out of that place of scarcity and into a place of abundance. Let's see. Thanks, Richard. Likewise. Let's see. Debbie, autopilot in relationships is usually open, fun, loving, and accepting, but maybe open too much too quickly and then disappointed when they don't reciprocate. Interesting. Debbie, interesting thought you put there. The thought is, and this might be a minor shift if you're open to it, and if I'm allowed to share here, take it for what it's worth, but if you're too open to relationships, the interesting part, there's nothing wrong with being too open. The only thing that'll mess you up there is disappointed when they don't reciprocate. So there's kind of, I remember learning this, but there's 3 levels of love. There's, where you demand love from someone else. You're like, hey, I want love from you, and if you don't give it, I'm going to be pissed and angry. I remember dating someone a long time ago, and we went on a date. I think we had a kiss, and when I didn't respond the way she wanted me to, she threw a fucking tantrum. And this chick, she was in her 30s, but she threw a tantrum. I got all kinds of texts to verbally like, oh, you're just like all the other assholes, blah, blah, blah. And she went after me. And I went, wow, she's loving at level 1. Meaning, I believe this is our relationship status. I want this in return. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to verbally, and emotionally attack you because I want my love and I don't want to be, I don't want it any other way. And it's like, whoa. Level 1 love. If you don't get what you want, you verbally, emotionally attack someone else because that's you either get it or you attack them. On the flip side, level 2 is, Debbie, what I'm seeing here, just to give you some honest feedback, it's trading. It's saying, hey, I'm going to be open and loving and caring. I'm going to give you so much as long as you're giving it back to me. But if you don't give it back to me, I'm going to be disappointed or I'm going to be upset or I'm going to stop giving to you because it's a trade here. You give to me, I give to you. If you want to feel more alive in relationships, the next stage is giving just to give. And it's a point where the giving of that love is what fills you up. So it's not receiving it back from them that fills you up. It's the giving of it that fills you up. It's like, wow, I already feel so abundant, so in love, so full, that I just want to be able to literally share this with other people. And by sharing some love or sharing some openness or giving a little bit of, my time or life to this person, oh my gosh, that lights me up. It's the coolest thing on earth. I don't want anything back. I just want to be able to share. I don't even care if they thank me for it. I just want knowing that I took a piece of my love and I handed it to them and I got to see them receive it. I'm like, oh, I did it. That's the victory. Just giving becomes the victory. Not anything, not a thought in return, not a thank you in return, nothing in return. Just the ability to give to that person literally lights your world on fire. I always tell people at that point they're ready for a long-term relationship. When they found a point in their life that all they want to do is they've filled up and fueled up with so much love, so much abundance, that all they want to do is share that with another human being. That's their only desire. They don't want anything back. They just want to share it with them. They just want to give it to them. They want someone who values, and this is the extent where it's a little bit of a trick, but and I'll tell you this on relationship, different topic, but someone who just can receive it from them. And ideally, it's someone whose greatest dream is to receive that kind of love. And if you find that fit, it's a perfect fit. Where the gift you want to share is the love is what they desire to receive, and what they want to share is what you desire to receive. That's a perfect fit, because then all your focus is on, I can't wait to give this to them. And then the gift is they can't wait to share back with you, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. But the step before that, when you're just in relationships with people and community and business partners, if you focus on just giving and that's what lights you up, it'll put you at a huge, huge advantage in all those relationships, because you'll feel so alive and so abundant regardless of how they ever respond. Just 2 cents there. Jeremy, what if we know we don't like the results we're getting but unsure on how to change those unconscious habits? Great thought, Jeremy. Great question. So how to change those unconscious habits, there's a book called The Power of Habit, and it's the simplest way to change it. The simplest way, honestly, to change a habit is defy it with action. meaning start training yourself to take a new action. So define the action you know you need to take and do it every single day, again and again and again. Back in the day, my dad adjusted something from NLP, and it was called neuro-associative conditioning. What that means is think great thoughts, associate it to what you need to do. Think great thoughts, associate it to what you need to do. Think great thoughts, associate it to what you need to do. Pretty soon you think about what you need to do, you feel fucking great, and you're excited to go do it. That's neuro-associative conditioning. That's one way. It's very simple to do. It's very pragmatic, and it works. The other thought is a little bit of cognitive behavioral training or conditioning is what they call it. The other thought is there's a book called The Power of Habit. They talk about three different ways, three parts of any habit. A cue, meaning a trigger, something that sets it off, the routine you go through, and then a reward, mental, emotional, physical reward you get at the other side. So that thought is, if you want to train yourself to do the new habit, first identify what the habit is you want, and identify what the current cue is, the current routine is, the current habit, and the current reward is. What you do, they say, if you want to train yourself to have a new, better habit, use the same cue, the same trigger, replace the old routine with the new routine, and give yourself the same emotional reward, and you can replace the habit within literally moments or days. We do this with companies and organizations all over the world. We help them identify their bad habits and help them retrain in their new ones. We show them how to do it and get it to stick. So that if you have sales teams, if you have an executive team that has some real bad habits where they consciously attack each other, they're not there to support each other, there's something off and you want it to get fixed, call us and we'd be happy to come out and do some consulting and show you how to adjust the whole culture from the inside out. Also, if you're in a place where you're bringing on new people and you need to properly vet them mentally, emotionally, physically, we are really talented at that. We have a knack for sitting down with people, just talking with them for a while, and we can understand their blueprint of the world. And then as the boss, owner, or the investor in a company, we can easily show you who you're dealing with and how to better deal with them, to inspire them to action, to better understand what's driving them, to really understand their needs, wants, and desires. It can save you money on the points of negotiation. It can also save you a whole lot of time and headache from trying to figure out, why is this person not showing up or always doing this other thing? And it can show you how to help them adjust it almost instantaneously. Hold on just 1 second. Let me adjust this in the podcast. Here, let me move that. And we're back. So, Jeremy, great question. 2 things. 1, defy it with action. 2, neuroassociative conditioning. 3, the cue, routine, reward from the book Power of Habit. Let's see. Always find time for kids fun. Me too. Kylie, what if people go back to the old habit? Example, I started using your 90-day first 2 months. I woke up 5 a.m., no alarm, to follow the hour power. And the last 2 weeks, back to my old routine, making excuses. Perfect. So, Kyle, the whole thought of neuroassociative conditioning, what you'd want to do in this case is spend, let's say, 10 minutes a day. Could be as simple as that. 10 minutes a day. You want to write down what are all the amazing, amazing results you're going to get by following through this, and what are all the painful consequences that will show up in your life if you do not follow through with this. And each day add 5 more things to each list. So 5 more painful consequences if you don't follow through, 5 more pleasurable results if you do follow through. And what happens is if you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth every day, and every day you add 5 more painful consequences and 5 more pleasurable results, and every day you condition it mentally by reading it aloud, feeling it, saying it for 10 minutes like a rant. Like, if I follow through on this today, oh man, it's going to help me achieve my goals. I'm going to be so fulfilled. It's going to be so fun. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to do these things. And if I don't follow through today, oh man, it's going to screw me up. It's going to keep me from my goals. It's going to, it's going to rob me of my future. And if you go on a rant like that for 10 minutes each day, mentally and emotionally and physically building that rocket fuel, you will have no trouble following through. You just have to condition yourself by doing the conditioning every day until it sticks and it's just part of who you are. And the truth is, conditioning is kind of like a bath. It only lasts so long, and then you got to recondition. I always say the thought of filling up and fueling up, if you want to think of it this way, if you are a high-performance vehicle, a race car in the Monaco Grand Prix, how many laps can you take around the track before you got to pit stop and refuel with some gas to keep racing? Now, most human beings think, well, if I train myself once strong enough, I'll have 1 tank of gas and I can win the whole race. You can win a sprint like that, but you can't win the Daytona 500 laps on 1 tank of gas will never work. Sorry, Tesla. I realize y'all might be able to pull it off, but not at that speed yet. yet. I'm sure you'll get there. But the whole thought of you need to refuel at some point. Even Tesla needs to refuel. You got to plug that baby in and get some more energy. Same thing as a person. Everyone's different. Some people can last like 10 hours on one tank of emotional fuel that they built up. Some people might take, you might have to refuel once every couple hours. Some people might refuel like once a week, and that's enough for them. But you got to figure out how often do you need to refuel your mental and emotional tank of that emotional rocket fuel, so all the painful consequences, all the pleasurable results. How often do you have to refuel? My thought is, why not do it once a day? Because if you train it where every morning you refuel, you have the whole day to use that tank of gas, and the next morning, refuel again. That's why we talk about those morning routines and why it's so important. Let's see. Ori, absolutely true. Thank you. Ulysses, Heart Rocks, awesome. Pete, random acts of creativity. I like that. Anna, hey, Jairek. Hello, Anna. Nice to see you. Naeem, what's up? So welcome. I hope this was useful for you today. I've got about 3 minutes, and then we got to run our internets down here. So interesting situation. We have to go teach a class from an offsite location today. But if you have any questions, I've got about 3 minutes left. I'd be happy to answer them for you. If you're listening on the podcast, if you have any questions, tweet me. I'd be happy to answer them for you. People have been surprised that when I say that, I back it up. But if you tweet me a question, I will do my best to tweet right back at you and answer that question. For those of you on Facebook Live, let me know what's going on, if there's any questions you have. And I've got about 2 minutes left to answer them for you. And then we're going to jump. P.S. If you found this useful, make sure to hit the share button and let people know why they should listen in. So if you hit the share button, make sure to hit, with a message or something and type, hey, listen to this because it was great information on, and tell them what to expect. That way when they get here, they know what to look for. Also, 2 things. First, if you're in a leadership position, so you own a company, you have a manager, you run a team, and you're looking for more skills to better understand your team, better manage your team, better lead your team, better strengthen your team, please go to performancecoachuniversity.com and check out, we have a 12-week online training program that teaches people how to maximize mental resilience, how to understand human drivers of why people do what they do. I mean, we have a 2-hour lesson in there that's a crash course on psychology. It's everything it took me 4 years of a degree to learn, jammed into 2-hour session that can train you exactly how to understand the basics of psychology like that. We've had dozens of people come through this course. They love it, and it's really making a powerful difference, not only in their lives, but the lives of the people they work with. So if you're fascinated about that, please go to performancecoachuniversity.com. Check it out. There are free training on there, so you can sign up for a free version and go through some simple training. We have an online training that runs daily so that you could go through. What was it called, JR? So Performance Coach University. So Performance Coach, Performance, P-E-R-F-O-R-M-A-N-C-E, Coach, C-O-A-C-H, University, U-N-I-V-E-R-S-I-T-Y.com. And if you go there, and it has free training, has all kinds of stuff on there. We also have a couple other webinars we've done that are running as well online that you can get access to, but everything's on the main site, Performance Coach University, and that's there. If you are someone who's kind of in the private equity space or investing, and you need someone to help better vet the people or company or team that you're investing in, Christina, you're so welcome. If you need someone to better vet the team or organization you're vetting in, it's something we're very talented at. If we can have access to sit down with them, run some tests, and interview them, we can give you some insights into who they are, why they're doing what they do, what's driving them, what their next 10, 15 years look like in their business and personal life, and we can help you vet an investment as far as the team and people involved very quickly. And if you can understand who you're investing in, it might save you $100,000, $1 million down the road, $10 million down the road, just because you really understood who and what you were investing in, not just the math and the business side of it, but the people side of it too. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoy this. If you did, please hit that share button. Tell someone why they should tune in and make sure they check it out. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Bye.